Hello, hello, beautiful ones. I hope you can hear me and see me okay. I'm going to give it a moment for everyone to find me. So bear with me while I just pin the video. So hopefully people can find it in the group. Bear with me 2 seconds. There we go. Can I see myself? Yeah, and it's not letting me tag everyone again. I'm not sure why that is. So never mind. I will tag people in afterwards. Hopefully everyone can join us and find us. And let me just say hello to those of you that are joining. As you hop on, say hello. Tell me how you're doing today. Tracy, gorgeous. Happy New Year. Hope you are doing okay. Hope you're having a good start to the year. Hi, Claire, lovely. How are you? How are you doing? Is everyone doing well? Shari, lovely to have you here. Hope you're having a gorgeous week. Joanne, beautiful, lovely to see you. Fiona, lovely to have you here. Oh, it's lovely to see so many faces. Hopefully a few people will join us in a moment. A few more people, I should say. Not a few people, a few more people. Before we dive into today, I have to share a story with you. There's something that's just happened to me, and I'm still laughing about it, so I have to share it. Otherwise, it's going to be in the back of my mind for the whole thing. Anyway, some of you would remember, and I'm trying to think how long ago this was. It was probably a year, maybe 18 months ago. So if you've been in my programs for a while, you'll probably remember this. But there was and I'd had like a spate of breaking laptops, breaking things. Often, if you're attuned to Reiki, you will find technology generally doesn't work well around you. But anyway, I'd had an instant where I'd broken the camera on my laptop. Anyway, this was a real faff, bearing in mind it's an online business, and it was like the third laptop in the space of a year, so I don't want to go out and buy a new one. So I bought a web camera and I got that all set up, and then this web camera wouldn't align to Zoom, and it was working fine on Zoom for a while, but then it wouldn't, and there was all this faff around this webcam. Anyway, so just 5 minutes ago, I'm getting ready for the workshop, and I thought, God, that's weird. I haven't plugged in my webcam yet, and I can see a bit of my screen on the screen. I thought, that's strange. So I went to like clean the lens of where the webcam was. And it turned out I hadn't broken my webcam a year or like 18 months ago, but instead I had flicked a switch that I didn't know was there that had half turned my camera off. And so I've just discovered after 18 months and all that faff that my webcam was there the whole time. I was just technically incompetent. So I thought I'd share that with you. Just a little story because I needed to get it off my chest. Hi, Deb's gorgeous. Lovely to have you here. And it just goes to show, right? You don't need to be technically competent to have an online business. So if any of you are considering it and think you don't have the know-how, neither do I, let's be honest. It doesn't seem to make a difference. Okay. For those of you that don't know me, I should start there. We've got many new people in the group. Welcome. It is gorgeous to have you here. It is wonderful to have you a part of our community. I'm Holly. I'm the founder of the Medicine Women Collective. I created this space. I created our Medicine Women Collective to allow women to get back in touch with their wise woman ways. You know, those things that we inherently knew, how to work with energy, how to work with herbs, how to work with different elements, how to do that self-discovery and shadow work, and all of those amazing things that we sadly over the years have lost in a very patriarchal society, which put emphasis on other things, the things that we could prove. And the irony being that, you know, as science is catching up, they're now starting to prove the things that our wise women and ancestry knew for a very long time. And so on my journey to finding my own kind of wise woman energy and that wise woman knowledge and information, I came across many different healing modalities, many different ways of working with ourselves, working with the seasons, working with energy. And that led to me kind of creating the Medicine Woman Collective, because I thought more people need to know this. You know, it was, for me, the driver was very much initially a kind of physical wellness thing, and a mental health thing as well, because I was really struggling mentally myself during that time, as my whole identity had been shaken up by my health going down the pan, basically. Long story short. So I wanted to give people the information that I'd needed and give them tools and ways to do that. And as part of that, this community was formed. And I love this community. It has been a huge part of my journey to forming my business and getting to know you all. And yeah, so thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. You really are appreciated. I hope you know that. But today, I thought it'd be lovely if we did a retreat together. We used to do these every now and then, and we haven't done one for a while. So I thought it would be a lovely way to kind of kick off that feeling of an abundant 2024. And I want to dive into that word abundance before we go into this. I want to kind of give some context around that. And I want to give some context around Ayurveda before we explore some of the practices together. But before we do any of that, let's just take a moment to make sure that we're settled in, that we've truly arrived, that, you know, we're in the space where, and I mean mentally here, I'm presuming physically you already are, but that we're in that space mentally where we've left the troubles at the door. So I invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. No one here can see you, so take a moment to just close your eyes and connect to that breath in the belly, that gentle rise and fall that happens automatically. You may even want to put a hand on your belly if your mind is particularly busy or you're feeling particularly anxious today. That can be quite a grounding thing to do, a way to come back to the body. And if you feel like you're holding quite a lot of tension in the body today, I invite you to take a nice deep breath in, filling up those lungs in the front and the sides and the back, as deep as you can go. And as we exhale, I invite you to sigh out any stress, any tension, anything you've been holding in. And let's do that again, one more time together. And this time you may want to even imagine that stress, that tension, that worry coming out of you in the form of a black smoke or whatever resonates with you. What is the imagery that comes through for you as you think about the tension and what you've been holding in? And doing that one last time, one nice deep breath in. And feel free to make whatever noise wants to come through as well. You know, if you want to shout or scream, go for that too. And taking a moment to check in with what is it you want to get out of this experience today? What's your intention for being here? How do you want to show up for this? Do you want to feel open-hearted, relaxed? Maybe you want to gain some clarity on your vision for the year ahead. Maybe energetically, there's some things you want to let go of in this workshop today. Whatever that intention is for you, I invite you to plant that like a little seed into your heart space, maybe placing your hand on your heart space. Imagine that intention going deep within, planting like a seed in the soil of your heart, ready to bloom. Okay. And as and when you're ready, slowly coming back, let me just take a moment to welcome the rest of you that have joined as I was talking. I say that. What was I saying about technology? Trying to get my phone to go back around the right way. There we go. Emily, beautiful. Lovely to have you here. Susan, you managed to find us. Yay. Fab. Love it. Sam, gorgeous. I was just thinking of you. And I'll tell you why. Because I have my clear quartz. And also, this morning, I have been journaling in the beautiful journal that I got from your gorgeous shop. So if later on you want to share the link to Common Crafts, then please feel free to do so, because I absolutely love my owl journal. I use this for my shamanic journeying work. And I use it for like preparing for things like this. So it's my special one. I love it. Saying that, I've already got through loads of it. So hopefully you have prepared a space for today. You've prepared. If you haven't, please don't panic, right? Let me just start with that. But hopefully you've prepared the space that we'll be retreating in today. And I'll just run through a few things because this might be useful for you in future. Things that you may want to invite into a space if you're creating sacred space. So like I said, I've got clear quartz, which I have purposely put in my space today for clarity and vision. I've got my rose quartz, which someone else gave me this one a really long time ago, actually, when I was, God, it's amazing, isn't it, when you think about how long things have been. But I used to work with an amazing guy who brought me this for my desk to when I was working in an office. And rose quartz is obviously heart opening. It invites in that feeling of love, which to me is an important part of abundance. And I've also got some pyrite of fool's gold to cement that theme of abundance that we're going to be talking about and experiencing in this retreat today. That's just my crystals. Obviously, I mentioned in the group earlier, I've been burning cinnamon. Cinnamon is a warming incense. So it's brilliant for this time of year. This time of year, we have got really heavy elements going on. We've got the elements of earth, we've got the elements of water, and it can, especially with the amount of rain that we've had, right? I don't know if anyone's been for a walk recently, but it's like literally walking through mud. So if we're not careful, the elements can make us feel like this at this time of year, like everything's an effort. Everything takes so much energy, like even getting out of bed, having a shower, those really basic things can feel really draining. So the more we can bring in a bit of fire, the better. A bit of warmth through our spices, our space, our candles, and our colors. So for me, I'm wearing red today. That was a purposeful decision to bring in, again, that feeling of passion and abundance, those fiery energies that's going to counteract the season that we're in, as well as, a bit of gold. I like a bit of gold to cement that feeling of abundance. So I thought I'd share that just in case when you're creating your sacred space, you wanted a bit of inspiration on how to come about it or the things to consider. For me, the elements are a big part. And it's one of the things that we're going to be talking about today from an Ayurvedic perspective. So let me start there. What is Ayurveda? So Ayurveda to me, well, for me, was a bit of a lifesaver. It was something that I came across in pursuit of restoring my wellness when I ended up with 3 autoimmune conditions, all of which were fairly debilitating. And Western medicine was only getting me so far. And so I went on this big exploration, and Ayurveda has been a lifesaver for me in terms of being able to manage my symptoms, but also being able to manage the condition. But what I discovered is Ayurveda is so, and I can't stress that enough, so much more than just a health system. It was, it translates as the science of life, because it allowed me to understand the way I was operating in my life, the way I was operating in my relationships, the energy I was taking into things, the energy that I could use to counteract things like the seasons or the time of my life, so that we could find some balance, or I could find some balance during that time and feel stable and secure and abundant as I navigated the year, the day, whatever was going on for me. So today we're going to be doing a journey to help you not only know this from a logical perspective. I could do a workshop, right, on the logical perspective of this, and those of you in Coaches of Ayurveda have had lots of that, as well as the experience as well. But what I really have found in my journey is the growth, the moving forward, comes from when we get it here, when we really get it. And that comes from experiencing it. So that's what I wanted to gift you today, is a retreat so you could experience the power of Ayurveda and how it can be utilized outside of a wellness perspective, and more in terms of your energy, managing your life, looking at your dreams, looking at what you want to invite into 2024. And you'll know the theme that I have picked, which also happens to be the theme for our membership this year, is the theme of abundance. And there's a really good reason I've picked this theme. And it's not, I'll be honest, I was in 2 minds about this theme. The reason being, it has become such a cliche word, right? It has become a word that gets bandied about by coaches. It gets bandied about in the spiritual world. But one of the hesitancies I had was there's also a lot of misconception around it from my perspective. So what I know, I'll talk from that space. And whatever I share today, take what resonates. Feel free to leave behind what doesn't, right? I'm not here to tell you what to think or believe. That's up to you. But from my perspective, abundance is less about the amount of money in your bank account. And the reason that I wanted to really go into this today or share this from an abundance point of view today was last year, the amount of people that I worked with, and this came up for in programs, people feeling scarce, people feeling scared, people worrying. That kind of scarcity energy or fear energy was so prevalent that I got to the point where I'm like, I've had enough. I don't want to be, I don't want to have to see someone else that is stuck in that fear, scarcity energy. Because we don't have to be. It doesn't matter what's going on in our life. It doesn't matter what's going on in our relationships. It doesn't matter what's going on in our bank account. It's possible to feel that abundance now. And then the magical, and I say magical, but it's not magical in this kind of fairy tale sense. The magical thing is that when we operate from abundance, when we're in that space of love and gratitude and that feeling of how lucky am I, then we see the opportunities. We take the actions without fear. We go after what we actually desire rather than playing as this small version or this person that we think we should be. We get to really live the life that we were born to have, you know, in the fullest version of you. So I hope that is what you think you signed up for. I hope that is what, you know, sounds good to you. And bear with me while I have a look at the comments. And what's really frustrating about StreamYard is it doesn't show me everyone's names. So I'm just going to see if I can refresh my screen. Sam. Yeah, sending love, honey. I've been seeing what's going on with your family and thinking of you. Oh, beautiful crystals. I love the fact that you're using frankincense. It's one of my favorites. I've got some like, what do you call it? Resin incense or resin, you know, to burn, which is a mix of frankincense, myrrh. I'm trying to think what else is got in it. I know it's definitely got frankincense and myrrh in, but I'm only allowed to burn it sometimes. Because my family says it makes the whole whole house smell like a church, because it does, you know, it really smokes out the place. It's like proper extermination type cleansing that goes on. So if you need a deep clean energetically, highly recommend. Okay, so what I invite you to do now, actually bear with me, is there anything I've missed? No, I think that's it. But I just wanted to invite you to consider this idea of abundance as less to do with your external world and more to do with your internal world, more to do with your mindset, more to do with the energy that you take into the day, more to do with, you know, how you view the world, the perspective, the things that you're facing. Because the truth is, and this sounds cliche, but I'm going to say it. These are the days of our lives, right? And one day we will look back on them. And we will look back on them and we'll ask that question, did I make the most of it? Did I really drain every juice out of each moment with my kids, with my husband, with my work? Did I really put my whole heart into doing the things that I loved? Did I focus on every problem and challenge, which, let's be honest, are always there? There's always something to worry about. You only have to turn on the news to find that out. But did I get the most of it? And for me, that's always been my since I've been on this journey, that's always been my intention, to try and get as much out of each moment as possible. So when I look back over my life, I have got the most beautiful collection of moments filled with intimacy, filled with love, filled with wholeheartedness, filled with openness, filled with that connection that only comes from vulnerability and being brave and putting myself out there and chasing my dreams. I want that to be what I remember, rather than a feeling of, God, I wasted so much time. I wasted so much time worrying about things that either didn't matter or I had no control over. And the one thing we all have control over is ourselves. So I hope that is what you gain from today, is a beautiful experience of that, a beautiful feeling of that power that comes with that, as well as a really lovely understanding of Ayurveda and the medicine that we can gain from that in our lives, not just our wellness. Yeah, burning resin. It's interesting, right? Okay. So what I invite you to do now is get comfy, get cozy, do whatever you need to do. You may want to lay down for this experience, because we're going to go on a little journey. And most of you know I love a good shamanic journey. Whether you believe in different spiritual realms, whether you believe in different levels of consciousness. Does anyone not now? I don't know. But whether you believe in the spiritual sense behind this, it doesn't matter. Because what we know is that it will allow you to access your subconscious. It will allow you to access parts of yourself that perhaps you've not allowed yourself to come into contact with for a while. It will allow you to unearth things that are already within you. Because the truth is, we already have that abundant mindset within us. This isn't like something separate to us that we have to invite in. It's something that's always been there. As a child, you weren't worried about scarcity, right? You were too busy doing handstands or cartwheels or having fun with your friends. And, you weren't even thinking about scarcity. So it's just a mindset that we just get to connect back in with. And that's what we'll be doing today. Oh, yeah, there's some really nasty viruses about at the moment. So sending love to anyone that's not feeling on full form right now. And I'm sure this will help, actually, because we'll be doing some energetic work, which will help you to identify some things that you can start taking into yourself now, whether that's through food or herbs or, yeah, we'll go into that afterwards. If I'm not careful, we'll be here like all day. You know me. Okay, lovelies. So get comfy, get cozy, do what you need to do. I will give you a moment. I'll take a sip of water. My throat's already feeling croaky, so we'll see how we go on. Now, normally, when I'm doing a shamanic journey, whether in my own life or in workshops and programs, we will often use things like a drumming track or music to help guide us, or a drum. However, Facebook has this lovely thing of taking down my videos if I'm playing music or like drumming tracks or things like that. So we are going to not worry about that today. We are going to just allow the breath to be that rhythmic portal. So we internally have this amazing thing that is the breath. Our breath, we take for granted, right? But without it, we wouldn't be here. But it has so many different ways that we can utilize it. As I'm sure many of you know, you can use it to manage your nervous system. You can use it to invite in different types of energy into your system. You can use it to bring in different states of consciousness. So if anyone's done things like DMT breath work or holotropic breath work, where you enter into a different state of consciousness to help you process trauma, we can do it through that way. But today we're not going to be doing any kind of fancy breath work. We're just going to allow our breath to be our guide. So as you lay down, if you're not laid down, that's absolutely fine, by the way. But I invite you to close your eyes wherever you are and place your hands on your belly. And now this isn't a time to start examining the size of your belly, right? Many of us have eaten far too much over Christmas, and that is absolutely okay. And very welcome. We need to stock up on calories in this cold season, right? So what we're going to do is allow that gentle rise and fall of the breath to happen automatically. And we're just going to step into that witnesser state where we don't have to change, we don't have to take action. We just get to surrender in this moment and just witness this gentle rise and fall that happens automatically. We're not trying to be anything. We're not trying to be more relaxed or more engaged or more present. When we surrender, those things happen automatically. So for now, just watching that gentle rise and fall. And if at any point you become distracted by thoughts or discomfort, a random itch, know that's absolutely okay. And when you notice, just gently redirecting your attention back to the breath in the belly. And you may notice at this point that there might be places in the body that you're still holding on to a little bit of tension. So you may want to just consciously relax those areas, maybe softening across the brow, around the eyes, softening the jaw, seeing if you can allow any tension in your shoulders to just melt away. Can those muscles become like butter? Maybe you feel some tightness in your chest. Seeing if you can bring just a little bit more ease. Allow it to be a little bit more open. Maybe you're holding on in the belly. Can you let go of that? Can you just surrender into this moment? Knowing you're safe, knowing there's nothing else to do. You just get to be here with you and the breath. And I invite you now to see if you can bring that awareness up to the area of your third eye. And with each breath that you breathe in, you're breathing in more energy into this area. You may see that energy as a light. You may feel it as a sensation or feeling. You may just have a sense and knowing that it's happening. Don't overthink it, just allow that breath to breathe energy into the third eye. And with each breath that you breathe in, that energy gets stronger. There's a pressure that builds in this area of the body. But it's not unpleasant. There's an anticipation to it. You know you're building up to something. Breathing that energy into the third eye. That center of the crown space. Or center of the brow. Allowing that energy to build even stronger now. And it's getting so strong now that it feels like you can no longer contain this energy within you. And with this last breath that you take in, nice deep breath, that energy projects out, a tunnel of light in front of you. And I invite you to start walking through this tunnel now. And you can start to notice what this tunnel of light looks like for you. You can maybe run your hands through the sides of this light. What does it feel like? What color is the light? How do your steps feel as you walk through this tunnel up towards a door at the other end? And that door starts to come into your focus now. Start to notice the color of it, the texture. What's it made from? What does the handle look like? As you walk closer and closer towards that door, allow all the detail to come into your vision. And you don't have to see this, just know this, have a feeling about this. Again, don't overthink the process, just trust however you experience this door is exactly the right way for you in this moment. And when you get close enough, I invite you to reach out for the handle of that door. But before we turn it, we're just going to check in with our intention. And remember that we're about to go on a journey to understand the elements of Ayurveda. And we're also going to use this journey as an opportunity to see how we can invite in more abundance to our upcoming year, to see what opportunities that might be available to us. And when you feel like that intention is settled into your body, into your heart space, you can reach out and open that door. And you're opening that door onto a beautiful woodland path. And you can step through that door now and start walking along this woodland path. And as you walk along, start to notice if there's any plants, any trees, any flowers, any animals that catch your eye. And again, this doesn't have to be seen, maybe felt, experienced, something you know. And you can hear the sounds of this woodland surrounding you. The sounds of the birds chirping in the trees. Maybe the wind whistling through the treetops. Maybe there's some dappled sunlight that's forming patterns on the path ahead. And there's that earthy, mossy smell that feels comforting, that feels safe. And up ahead on the path, there's something that's catching your eye. And there's a smell in the air that you know too well. It's that smell of wood smoke, and what's catching your eye is those little flickering flames of a bonfire up ahead. And I invite you to walk closer to this bonfire now. I invite you to notice that as you get closer, your body starts to feel warmer. And you begin to watch these flames that are dancing around, that are powerful, that are transforming that wood into ash. And you take a moment to really consider this amazing element that is fire, the warmth that it brings, the transformation, the power behind it. And as you look into the fire, you realize that the fire itself is actually alive. There's a spirit there. It has a soul. And you can take a moment to ask the wisdom of the fire whether it has any guidance for you here today. Anything that you need to know going forward in 2024. Allow those answers to come to you now. And it's time to leave the fire now. So you can thank it for any guidance or wisdom that you've received. Knowing it's time to continue along that path. I invite you to start walking on the path again now. And again, looking around, noticing any plants, any flowers, anything that catches your eye, anything that feels important. And up ahead, you can see a bend in the path. Start walking towards that bend in the path now. And as you come around the corner, you notice the most beautiful tree. It's large and huge. It looks like an oak tree. You notice how wide the base of the tree is. You begin to wonder how long it's been stood here, how much it would have seen, how much it would have experienced. And you can't help yourself but feel like you want to wrap your arms around that tree just to get an idea of its size and greatness. I invite you to do that now. And you notice that as you hug this tree, you feel safe. You feel stable. You feel grounded. This element of earth is within this tree. It feels nurturing, nourishing, as the soil is. And you may even decide at this point to take off any shoes that you're wearing right now and place your feet into the earth as you hold this tree to really immerse yourself in this nourishing energy. And this energy feels different to that of the fire. It's the energy of stability, of safety, of Mother Earth, of feeling nurtured, taken care of. And again, you sense that this tree, this earth, it's as alive as you and I. And there's wisdom to be found here. So once again, you ask this element, is there anything you need to know for your journey ahead into 2024? And you allow those answers to come to you now. And once again, it's time to say goodbye. So thanking this earth element for the wisdom that you've received. But it's time to continue on your journey now. And you start to walk again along the path. And it's not long before you start hearing the sound of trickling water up ahead. And you notice, although you hadn't seen it before, that on the side of the path, there's a gentle trickling brook. The water looks clear, refreshing. So you decide to take a little break from your walk along this path and go dip your feet into that stream. Maybe they're still a little bit mucky from when you had them held by the earth. And this water feels refreshing, cleansing. And you begin to notice the pattern of the water, how it just easily moves around any obstacles in the way. It gently curves around the rocks. And it always finds a way through. No matter what obstacle is in the path, it's happy to adapt, to find an alternative route. And as before, you get a sense that this water is far wiser than you've ever given it credit for before. That there's a spirit to it, a life force. And so once again, you take a moment to ask for guidance from this element of water that flows so easily, that adapts and clears. Asking the question, what do I need to know going into 2024? And allow those answers to come to you now. And again, knowing you've still got more to see on this path, you realize you have to say goodbye and thanking the water for any wisdom you received. And getting back on the path now. Continuing to walk and look around, listening to the bird song. And you hear a sound up ahead. That gentle breeze has become stronger. And as you stand here on the path, this breeze begins to swirl around you. You can feel your hair being blown out of your face. But it's enlivening. It's clearing away the cobwebs. There's a sense of it making space for what's to come. Blowing away any fogginess, anything that's been weighing you down. Seems to be moved by this breeze. And once again, you know that this element of wind, there's wisdom that lies here. And you ask this element, what do I need to know going into 2024? Allow those answers to come to you now. And once again, it's time to move on, thanking this wind that shared any wisdom with you. But you now need to continue the path. And again, up ahead, you notice that the path rounds into a bend. You can't quite see what's on the other side. So you start to walk closer towards that bend now. And as you round the bend, the strangest thing happens. The forest drops away. And there's just an empty space, an empty field. It feels vast and expansive. You begin to walk into the middle of this field and consider this concept of space. This is the element of potential. We need that space for new things to emerge. If we don't have room for something, it can't come into our life. If our life is already too cluttered, too full, too chaotic, and you take a moment to just enjoy this sense of space. You feel that move within you. That feeling of room being created. That feeling of the clutter, that internal turmoil, that internal chatter, moving way for space. Creating room for opportunity. And again, you begin to really consider this power that lies behind something as simple as space, the medicine it has to offer. And you ask this element, what do I need to know? Moving into 2024. And you allow those answers to come to you now. And once again, you thank this element for any wisdom you received. And as you look around, you notice out of the corner of your eye, there's something you didn't see in this expansive space before. There's a stone on the floor, an altar stone. A big, long stone that's buried into the ground. But on this stone, there's some items placed, 5 in total. And each item represents each of the elements that you have come across today. And I invite you to look at these objects, consider these different elements, and decide which elements that you feel you want to take with you today. Which ones do you feel like you need the most of right now? Which one holds the most medicine for you in this moment? And I invite you to reach down and take that object now. Carrying it with you. And as you pick up the object, this place that we visited begins to gently disappear. And you find yourself where you were before, sat or laid down where you are, and starting to notice that feeling of being back in your body, back in the here and now. That feeling of the breath gently rising and falling. Maybe starting to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. So that's the first part of our journey today. To give you a little introduction on the real foundations of Ayurveda. Before I start talking about that, I want to give you a moment to just note down anything you experienced in that journey, anything you want to remember, anything that you saw, any guidance that you received. And if there's anything you want to share in the chat, that'd be wonderful. I would love to hear while I take a sip of my drink. I can't believe we've been going for over an hour. While you do that, I'm going to give a bit more context to the elements and Ayurveda. If you have come across Ayurveda before, you probably would have heard the elements being referred to, or you may have heard of the doshas, which are patterns of energy that are present within everything. Ourselves, other people, the food that we eat, the herbs that we consume. Different objects have different doshic types, different energy balances. But the thing is, what Ayurveda also teaches us is there's an energy to everything. So how we start our day has an energy to it. How we enter into a conversation has an energy to it. How we choose, what we choose to do as a career, or how we choose to pursue that thing, or how we decide to parent, all has an energy to it. And so Ayurveda can help us identify where there's a balance still to be had, or where something's not quite in balance, or where we might want to invite in a different element, or Hopefully on that walk, you would have experienced how those different elements hold different medicine. But the thing is, there's different medicine to be had at different times. So, one day Earth might be exactly what you need. We're currently in a season right now where there is a lot of earth, there is a lot of water. So we might be feeling a little bit heavy. If we think about the earth and water, when it comes together, it creates like mud. So if we're not careful, we can find ourselves feeling stuck in the mud. So at different times, we're going to need different things. And that can change throughout the course of a day, the course of our life, the course of a year. So that's our Luna. Luna's our dog, I should say. For those of you that don't know, I might need to let her out. So that will give you a moment to note down your thoughts, anything that came through for you. Bear with me while I let Luna out, and then we'll go into part 2. See you in a bit. There we go. I was muted. Melanie, hello, Luna. It's actually Luna's birthday today. She's 2. She's not little, our hippo. Let me see what came through for you. Oh, Melanie, lovely to have you here. Sorry, lovely, if I didn't say hello. I don't think I saw your name. Oh, you've got lots. You're feeling much lighter and much better. I'm so pleased to hear it. So this is something you can come back to time and time again. Check in with the elements to go, right, what do I need right now? What do I actually need? Do I need that feeling of earth? Do I need that feeling of water? Do I need something to clear me away? And then for those of you that have more of a knowledge of Ayurveda, my coaches of Ayurveda, or those of you in the membership, you can then use your food. You can then use your herbs. You can then use this in terms of, for the rest of you, if you don't know anything about Ayurveda and have no intention of, that's absolutely fine. But you can get the idea of, I can bring more of that element into my life right now. Oh, Louise, you heard the elements really differently. I love that. Joanne, feeling lighter, more in flow and more refreshed. Fabulous. Okay. So I want to do a part 2 with you. I said a maximum of 2 hours. Let's see how we go, right? Yeah, I want to do a part 2 with you, but I also want to give you a breather. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes to go to the loo, do anything you need to do, because we're going to do another journey. This one's going to be slightly different, because this is about going into the year ahead. This is going to be about us connecting with that feeling of abundance now that we've got the wisdom of the elements. And it's going to be setting us up to get as much magic, as much juice, as much potential out of this year as possible. So I'll give you 5 minutes. Go do what you need to do. Go to the loo. if you need to. You don't have to, but I'll give you a mo. If you're anything like me, you know, I need to go to the loo like 20,000 times a day. I've had 3 kids. Come on. But also, I drink, like, I've always got tea, water, something on the go. Oh, the wind was what you needed today. Yeah, I used to know someone a long time ago who always loved that feeling of blowing away the cobwebs, right? Like if you go for a walk down the beach on, most of the time, we live on the Isle of Wight, and if you don't live near a beach, you may not know this, but when, the closer you are to the beach, the windier it gets generally. And that feeling, some places it's even stronger. So I used to live on the northeast coast, like going back a while now. But if you went for a walk on the northeast coast, you had those cobwebs blown away, right? There was nothing left, nothing left at the end of it. Air and space spoke to you properly. So is that expected from a very Vata person? It depends, lovely. We're now in the energy of Kapha season. So Kapha, as you will know, Kapha is the elements of earth and water. And what I personally found this year, so the Ayurvedic seasons, Louise, I know you all know this, lovely, but for the benefit of everyone else in the group, Ayurvedic seasons don't run like, it's not like January 1st Kapha season comes in. These seasons are based on the weather patterns or what's happening in the weather system at that time. So the energy is affected by our weather. And so what I personally started to notice was we had a very wet Vata season, which is continuing. So Vata, although it was the elements of air and ether going on, there was certainly a lot of wind during Vata season here. But I found there was less feeling of space, because it was kind of counteracted by that water element that was happening, because it was so heavy, torrential downpours. Here we've got flooding again, which, sending prayers to the people that are affected by the flooding down here and anywhere else, near you. I hope you're all okay. So long story short, I feel like Vata season, we didn't have as much ether or space as usual. The other thing with being naturally Vata is a lot of your energy will be in your head, right? So it's that constant thoughts, constant ideas, mind jumping around, sometimes feeling quite scattered, naturally if you're out of balance. So what do you want? What do you crave in those moments is, just give me some space, right? Space from your own thoughts. So I wouldn't say it's unusual. I would say it's a combination of perhaps the fact that you're a Vata person off the back of Vata season, and it's feeling quite heavy right now. So I also think collectively, those people that are empathic, work with energy, sensitive, whatever you want to term that thing, I don't think it really matters. Collective energy is very, very heavy right now. And it was in 2023, especially towards the end of it. It was starting to feel, there's a lot of big things happening in the world. There's a lot of things coming out in the world. There's a lot of people are finding out that they were lied to during the pandemic and things like that. We've got wars that are happening. Financially, people are feeling very scarce and angry and frustrated. And I think collectively we're picking up a lot on that heavy energy if you're sensitive to energy in any way. So this is another reason I picked the energy of abundance for this year, so that we can, especially in the membership area, because what I know, and you'll know it too, right? We can do something like this, a retreat or a meditation, or go to a spa, or, you know, do something to work on that kind of energy. And we come off the back of it and go, yep, feeling great, got this, know what I'm doing. And then daily life kicks in. And, you know, you start coming across problems, you start coming across challenges. People in your space are feeling heavy and negative and gossipy. And, you know, there's a lot of, I felt 2023 was a year for a lot of moaning. And so actually, to keep that alive, to keep that in balance, can be like so challenging. And so this is one of the reasons, like in the membership area, that abundance is the theme. So we know that that space is our energetic center for abundance, for coming back to abundance, for coming back to that lightness and love and gratitude, and those feelings that counteract that heaviness of what's going on in the collective right now. It doesn't last. And this is what I mean. We need ongoing practices. We need ongoing space. We need ongoing community. So you're very welcome to join the membership, lovely. What I will say is, if you are interested in joining the membership, doors close Sunday. So Sunday is the last day that you can join the membership for our 2024 intake. So if you've been thinking about it, go do it. Yeah, lots of anger going on at the moment. There's that collectively, energy is a bit, yeah, it feels like we all need a good gust of that wind element, right? Clear the cobwebs, clear that energy. I think I got through more sage in the past year than I have done in a very long time, as well as some of the stronger herbs for clearing. So yeah, anyway, enough of that, enough of, but I agree, it's been a tough year for empaths, particularly for sensitives, a heavy year. Ladies, you've got this. And 2024 is going to be beautiful and abundant, and we're going to shine that out to the world and ripple it out to them whether they want it or not. That's my intention anyway. So, part 2. We're going to go back. We're going to go back to this journey. So, is there anything I need to tell you in preparation for that? I don't think so. No. Oh, okay. Shari, you picked up a charred piece of wood and it doesn't make sense. Any idea what that represents? So as you say that, what drops through for me is, the word that dropped through is transformed. So if we think about the wood, is that earth element, it's that heavy, grounded, stable. But the fire element, when it comes, fire is like transformation, power, energy. So for me, that would kind of represent whether you are in or going through a transformation state. So is this your year to transform? I don't know. That's what came through for me. But I would sit with that for you as well. You know, what do I know? It's your life, you know, but that's how I would interpret it. What I always encourage people to do is, our subconscious will only talk to us in ways that make sense to us. The thing is, often we overanalyze it, overthink it. And the same comes with things like, if you use cards, like guidance cards, divination cards. The book is great, but it's not the authority. The authority is you. You pick that card because it makes sense to your subconscious. So sit with it. Notice what it means to you. Do this, this is the same with dreams, with journeys. Any way that we're working with the subconscious, you will have the answers. But that's my interpretation. Okay, lovely. So get yourself comfy again, get yourself settled in, do what you need to do. If any of you need to shoot off and want to come back to this part here, then feel free to do so. Although I would love for you to stay because I love having you here. But yeah. And what I will say is after this journey, I'm going to share with you a message that came through from my guides today because it seemed so apt and so I just wanted to share it with you. It really made a difference to my morning. And I think it's quite inspiring going into 2024. But for now, settle back in, lay down, sit down, do whatever feels right for you in this moment. And again, we're just going to come back to that breath in the belly. Noticing that gentle rise and fall. No need to change or adapt the breath in any way. And we're going to come straight into this third eye area and start walking back through that tunnel again, because this area is now open. We can just continue walking through this tunnel of light, seeing the door at the other end. We don't need to prepare too much this time. And again, noticing, is this door different? Is there anything that's changed about it since you were last walking through this tunnel of light? What color does it have? What texture? What does the handle look like? How big or small is the door? I'm getting closer and closer to the door now. And as you open it up, you come back into that expansive field that you were in last time. And on your left-hand side, you can see that forest or woods that you just walked through, and the little path that led out into this field. But as you look at the path, you notice on the left-hand side, there's a little sign. And that sign says 2024. And you start to walk closer towards this sign, closer towards this path. And you begin to get excited. You feel that kind of childlike energy wash over you, that feeling of anticipation, of amazing things that are going to be coming up for you. You know, there's going to be so many things to look forward to, so many things that are going to happen, so many things you're going to bring into existence. And you get to the path and you start to walk along. And as before, noticing any plants, any animals, anything that sticks out to you along the way. But just for now, enjoying that path. you notice along this path, there's markers. Wooden markers, each numbered along the way. And the first one comes into your view, and this marker represents the first beautifully abundant thing that is going to be happening to you this year. I invite you to notice what that is. And you start to walk past this marker now, and the next one comes into view. And this marker represents what's going to be different about you this year. What are you changing about yourself? And you start to walk along the path again now. And the third marker comes into view, and this marker represents a word that you're going to take in to 2024, which represents the energy or mindset that you want to embody this year, who you're choosing to be. And the next marker comes into your awareness. And this marker contains something that represents the relationships you want to have this year. What do you want to be different? What attention or focus needs to be given? Where do you need to let go of friendships or relationships that are no longer serving you, that are causing more harm than good? And where do you need to examine yourself in relationship? Where do you need to step up? And starting to walk along the path again now. And allowing the next marker to come into your awareness. And this marker represents how you're blocking yourself from really enjoying life right now. How are you standing in your own way of abundance, of love, of gratitude? Where are you stopping yourself from squeezing the juice out of life? And walking back onto the path now. And then noticing another marker up ahead. And this marker represents what the outcome could be if you overcome that block, that self-sabotage. What possibility could 2024 hold for you? And walking back onto the path now. Back along this woodland walk, taking a moment to enjoy the scenery. And there's another marker up ahead. And this marker represents what you're going to need to make this change a reality. It could be a person or another resource, something that you're going to invite into your life to allow you to overcome the blocks and actually experience that abundant vision. And coming back onto the path now. And there's just one final marker up ahead. And this marker represents anything you need to see or know in order to make this forthcoming year your most abundantly beautiful year yet. What do you need to know? What guidance do you need to receive? What wisdom is within you? And before we go back, I invite you to allow all this wisdom that's along this path to merge within your being, to settle within you, to elevate you from an energetic standpoint. Feel those changes to mindset already happening. Feel that energy in your body, feeling a little bit brighter, a little bit more energized, a little bit more ready for the year ahead. Feel that inner sense of abundance taking you over. That feeling of love and gratitude for everything and everyone that's already in your life. For the fact that you're here, for the fact that we're sharing this experience, for this beautiful community, for the technology to watch it, for all of it. Allow that to expand your heart space, to fill you with the sense of joy and that feeling of how lucky am I to be alive here, now, in this time. To have access to this sort of wisdom, to connect across the planet using these funny little devices that we have, and sending love to the other people in the community that are watching this or watching on replay, allowing that love and gratitude to be exchanged in this beautiful ripple of abundance. Knowing that as we lift each other, in turn, we will lift our families, our communities, our clients, our co-workers, that ripple effect becomes endless. When we become the change we want to see in the world, that world begins to change. Maybe taking a moment to say to the universe, God, whoever you connect in with, or whatever word connects in with you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And as you allow that pathway to disappear, seeing if you can bring that energy of thankfulness and gratitude, abundance and love back with you. See if you can make sure that it's in every cell of your being right now. Can you amplify it? Can you allow it to expand within you? Can you allow that abundance, that feeling of love and gratitude to get so big that it will have no choice but to ripple out? And as and when you're ready, slowly opening your eyes, coming back into this space. So, I would love to know, again, for those of you that want to share, anything that came through for you. And what I would say, it's just dropped through, so I want to share it. If you found yourself judging yourself for any blocks, any self-sabotage that you've been doing up to now, that judgment won't help you. That judgment only hinders you. We all do it right. We all stand in our way. We all can get into that sticky, funky energy. We can all find ourselves letting our routines go out the way, go out the window rather, and forgetting to prioritize ourselves and forgetting to prioritize our energy. What's important is that you recognize that, and instead of seeing it as another stick to beat yourself up with, you think, okay, so what do I need to do for that to change? Often what we do at that point is then start beating ourselves up more. Well, I need to be more disciplined. I need to actually stick to my meditation routine. I need to actually, I need to make sure I've got this timetable in place. And again, often those things don't help, or they will help for a very short amount of time. Discipline only gets you so far, right? And, shame and guilt, they only get you so far, like a really short window. What's actually more helpful is to go, okay, what support do I need? Like, what support do I need? Who do I need in my corner? What friends, people do I need to hang around with that are actually going to lift and elevate me and lovingly support me and keep me accountable? These are much more useful questions to ask yourself. So I would, play with that a little bit. Gratitude, it's a powerful energy, right? And I know it's become cliche, but the truth is I haven't come across a spiritual practice, a religion on this planet that doesn't involve gratitude as a key component, because it is powerful, very powerful. And gratitude is one of the most amazing ways to put yourself into abundance. And there's many thought patterns around whether that's because the universe can't give you more unless you're grateful for what you've got, or from a psychology point of view, you know, if you're already grateful, you're already seeing the opportunities, you're already trusting that the right way's ahead, and so you're more likely to take the risks that are going to get you where you want to be. So oh, lovely. Yeah. Sometimes the self-healing work is tough. You know, we don't, but some people have the impression that healing work or self-care is about bubble baths, indulging yourself. The hardest things I've ever done in my life have been the most healing. The toughest decisions have been the most healing. But it's all relative, right? The harder it is, often the bigger the reward. Like anything in life. When I say harder, that often people interpret that as hard work. What I mean is often it's the emotional weight of what we're trying to do. You know, if we want to create a lot of abundance, often we're going to come across a lot of fear. And so we need to be willing to face that fear, to be the warrior, to get to, I say warrior, our spiritual work, our inner work, it's warrior work, right? You've got to be brave to do this. You've got to, it takes a lot of courage. Self-compassion, huge thing. I don't mind telling you, Joanne, it's still something that comes up for me time and time again. I've done so much work on self-compassion over the years, and it still comes up for me. I still catch myself. I still hear myself sometimes and go, oh my God, Holly, you can't talk to yourself that way. But just being mindful of it is a huge, huge thing. So yeah, enjoy the journey. Okay. So I wanted to share, I said I was going to share a message that came through from my guides this morning as I did a journey this morning into the lower world. And I thought this was really apt, and this is only half of what came through, but it's the most relevant. And again, take what resonates with you, leave what doesn't. Your life isn't really that difficult right now, despite what you may think. You have just forgotten how to embrace it, to enjoy it, to engage with it. You hold yourself back from wanting to prove or fix yourself. You've forgotten how to have fun. Enjoy the gifts and talents that you have. Allow yourself to just be like a child playing through the year. You're not yourself. You are not your past. You get to be and feel different today. So on that note, I want to say a huge thank you for those of you that could make it today. Also to those of you watching on replay, I hope you've thoroughly enjoyed this. Please let me know in the comments anything you experienced, anything you want to share, any questions you have. I'm very, very happy to come back and answer any questions that you may have. I'd love to see your experiences. The other thing, like say, just to mention, if you want more of this, if you feel like 2024 is a year where you want to spend more time in community, you want to elevate the people that you spend time with energetically, spending time with, the mindset, the people that you're spending time with, That sounds really pretentious, and I don't mean it to be. But if you want to, I can't deny the fact that they're beautiful ladies in the membership. You know, they're amazing women. And if you want to be in a community with people who prioritize this work and have a space where you can share things where other people might think you're going mad. I know along my healing work and my work, I thought, God, if I tell people this, I'll think I'm nuts. You know, if you want a space where you can share, where you can connect deeply, where you can have those vulnerable conversations that you know are going to be healing. If you want to have more of this sort of practices in your life, as well as lessons, meditations, practices, workshops. We've got resources. We've got some mini courses that are dropping in on a number of different topics. So the energy work, the things like Ayurveda, things like practical tools for your spiritual and personal development, like toolbox. So things like, I'm going to do a mini course on creating sacred space, but quite in depth. So where we go into things like the crystals and the herbs and the incense and the candles, and the different kind of things that we can bring in a number of different ways. So that's there. That's what I wanted to say. The membership is there, but a reminder that doors close to it. End of play Sunday. End of play Sunday. You know what I mean? End of Sunday. So I'll put a link. I think the link's in the group, but I'll put another link just in case. I hope you can join us. It is low cost, and the other thing that I'm doing at the moment as well is if you sign up for the year, you get 2 months free, because it's always nice to like kind of reward that kind of commitment. I'm in. Do you know what I mean? That kind of I'm in energy. I love to reward that. Could I post those words? The words that I shared from my guides? Yeah, of course. Will you be able to go back on today's? Yeah, this is staying in the group. I'm not moving it anywhere. So if you need to come back to it anytime, please do. What else have I got? Oh, Shari, hope you enjoyed. Lovely. Claire, great energy. So powerful. Oh, thank you so much. I am wishing you the most beautifully abundant 2024. And I'm not saying that from the perspective of, you know, obviously, right, we're going to have challenges. Obviously, we're going to have problems that come along. There is often times when, you know, we feel like we've been kicked on our backside. But I am sending you as much energy as possible to help you stay in this abundant mindset, this gratitude, this love, this appreciation for the fact that we get to be here, right now, living in a time where this wisdom is available to us, when for, you know, millions of years it wasn't. And please know I appreciate every single one of you. I hope you will stay with us while in this community. We're going to, as usual, have lots coming up, no doubt, in 2024. I will keep you updated on whatever we're doing. But for now, we've got the lives on a Friday where we're looking at how we can bring more intention into our lives. I hope that sounds good to you. I will love you and leave you. As always, if there's anyone you want to invite along to the community, please do. Otherwise, wishing you the most beautiful weekend, the most beautiful year ahead. And thank you for being here. I will see you soon. Take care.